The stars were silent that day. In the Great Hall of the Galactic Union, thousands of alien leaders sat in long rows, their eyes focused on one place, the center platform. On it stood a single humanoid diplomat named Sarah Lynn. She wore Earth's flag on her shoulder and hope in her heart. For many years, Earth had worked hard to become a member of the Union. They had helped in wars, sent food during famines, shared medical knowledge, and even sacrificed soldiers for peace. Now it was time for the vote. Sarah looked around the hall. She saw familiar faces, some who had fought beside humans, some who had been saved by human aid. "We have given much. We only wish to stand beside you as equals." The hall was quiet. Then the lights changed. One by one, the voting lights above each seat turned either green for yes or red for no. Sarah watched them blink. Red, red, green, red, red. Her heart sank. Out of 1,000 member worlds, only 46 voted yes. The Speaker of the Union, a tall, insect-like alien named Veloc, stood up. "Earth is rejected. The vote is final. Humanity is no longer welcome in Union matters. This meeting is closed." A loud buzzer echoed. The hall emptied quickly. No one looked at her. Some turned their backs. A few smirked. Sarah stood frozen. Then she turned and walked slowly toward the exit. Her hands shook, but her face stayed calm. Outside, Earth's ambassadorship waited for her. As she entered, her assistant, a young man named Omar, asked, "What now?" She looked at the stars beyond the window. Her voice was quiet but strong. "Now we stop begging. They've made their choice. It's our turn." Back on Earth, the news spread fast. Earth rejected by Galactic Union. Aliens vote against humanity's membership. "We gave everything. They gave us nothing." People were angry. Some cried. Others demanded answers. But the leaders of Earth remained calm in secret meetings under the mountains. They made a new plan. "This is not the end," said General Arya Wren, leader of Earth's Defense Council. "This is our beginning. In the next few months, strange things happened. Earth shut down its deep space beacons. Trade with alien worlds slowed. Military ships stopped patrolling known routes. Scientists, engineers, and soldiers started disappearing from public life. Aliens noticed, but they thought Earth was sulking. "They're just angry," said one ambassador. "They'll be back," said another, but Earth wasn't sulking. Earth was preparing. 10 years passed. The galaxy forgot about humanity. New wars came and went. New alliances were formed. Earth's name was barely spoken. Until one day, a ship entered Union space without warning. It was small, black, and had no ID code. It flew past patrols without slowing down. The Union tried to contact it. No reply. Finally, a small fighter was sent to intercept, but before it could reach the unknown ship, the fighter exploded. The mystery ship vanished. That day, whispers returned. Was that human tech? No, impossible. They don't have that kind of speed. Maybe they built something in hiding. Giant factories glowed in silence. Massive ships, like anything the galaxy had seen, were being built. Humans walked among machines. Children were trained in zero-gravity schools. AI minds calculated new paths of science. Soldiers drilled in silence, wearing armor that shimmered like shadows. They had no flag, no planet, no allies, only one name, the forgotten back in Union. Space, the Speaker Veloc, was asked in an interview, "Do you ever regret casting Earth out?" He laughed. Humans were too wild, too fast, too dangerous. "We did the right thing." The reporter nodded. "And if they come back," Veloc smirked, "they won't." But in the darkness, humanity was building. Not for revenge, not for acceptance. They were building something new, something powerful, something no one saw coming, and the stars would never be the same again. The stars watched, but they said nothing. After Earth was rejected by the Galactic Union, many thought humanity would fall into silence and sadness. For a short time, that was true. Earth closed its embassies. Space trade with alien worlds dropped to zero. But behind the quiet, something else was happening. Humanity was not crying. They were moving. It began slowly. Assistant who once stood beside diplomat Sarah Lynn now worked in a secret underground command center. He watched a screen as more names were marked departed. "Are we really doing this?" he asked. Sarah stood beside him, older now, her eyes colder. "Yes, we're leaving the galaxy that rejected us." Omar looked surprised. "Leaving everything?" She nodded. "Not leaving, evolving." Project Exodus was launched in silence, deep beneath Antarctica. Ships were being built using advanced human-AI collaboration. Not just normal ships, these were colony vessels, massive and hidden by cold and ice. They could travel to unknown parts of space far beyond Union star charts. Each ship carried scientists, builders, soldiers, families. Each ship had AI pilots and new prototype weapons cloaked from scanners. Once launched, they would never contact Earth again, in total. Union noticed. A council meeting was called. Velok, the speaker, spoke to the other alien leaders. "We should send a scout. Earth is acting strange." But many leaders laughed. "Let them go. They're running away. They'll die out there." Velok looked uneasy. "Maybe, but humans never give up easily." A scout ship was sent. The ship, a fast cruiser from the Sakari Empire. The crew expected dead space. Instead, they found something else. A massive space structured and finished, but huge, floated between two dead stars. It looked like a shipyard. A signal. A ship was approaching. Fast. It was human. The scout captain tried to open communication. No answer. The human ship had no lights. It looked like a blade in space. Suddenly, the alien ship's systems began to fail. Lights blinked. Weapons went offline. The pilot screamed, "Get us out of the transmission." And the Union sent another ship to investigate. This one returned, but half burned. The crew inside were dead except one. The survivor was locked in a cryopod, barely alive. When he was revived, he spoke only one word: monsters. Panic began to grow in the Union. What are they building? Why are they silent? Did we make a mistake rejecting them? But no answers came. Earth sent no messages, no signals. No ships returned. They were gone. On the edge of the galaxy, in a place now called the Hollow Vale. Human colonies thrived. They didn't use Earth's name anymore. They called themselves the Frontier. Their children grew up under black suns. Their soldiers trained in zero-gravity rings. Their scientists created new types of energy, new weapons, and new machines. One colony built a ship that could bend space without a wormhole. Another designed a drone that could fight in complete silence. One hidden moon had already become a full military. Academy humans had learned their lesson. They would never ask for a seat at the table again. They would build their own. Sarah Lynn now led the Frontier Council. Her voice echoed through a command chamber. "They left us in the dark," she said, "so we became the dark." The crowd of leaders nodded. "Our time in the galaxy will return," she said, "not as beggars, but as legends." And far away, in the bright center of the Union, alien leaders still argued. Do we go after them? No. Let them rot in the shadows. They'll return someday. Velok said nothing. He stared into the stars. He had a feeling one day something would come from the dark. And when it did, it would not come in peace. They called it the Lost Sector, a dead part of the galaxy. No stars, no life. No reason to go there until now. A Union scout ship, Tazrik, moved slowly into the dark. The crew was nervous. This area had no maps, no signals, just black silence. Captain Ralak, a lizard-like alien with sharp red eyes, sat in the command chair. "Why are we here again?" his second officer asked. "Orders from the top," Ralak replied. High Council detected strange energy pulses. From this region could be human activity. The crew went silent. The word human still made aliens uneasy. No one had seen humans for years. Some believed they were extinct. Others whispered that Earth had changed, but no one really knew the truth. Suddenly, the ship's radar blinked. "Contact, large object, 3,000 kilometers ahead," the radar officer said. On screen, the captain ordered. A dark shape appeared. It was massive, far larger than a normal ship. Floating in space, it looked like a broken city wrapped in armor. "A space station?" someone asked. "No," said Ralak, "it's a shipyard." The crew stared in silence. The shipyard was active. Machines floated, welding massive ship hulls. Strange glowing tubes fed energy into massive engines. Alien eyes widened. "These are human designs," the captain whispered. "But they single quotes different to advanced." "Send a probe," he said. The small probe launched. It got within a few kilometers. Then its signal was lost. Gone. "Something's jamming us," said the tech officer. Then the lights flickered. Alarms blared. Multiple signatures approaching fast. The radar officer shouted on the screen. Dark objects moved through space like shadows, ships, but not like any Union ship. These were human, but evolved, sleek, quiet, deadly. One moved beside the Tazaric, scanning it silently. Then it spoke. A cold, calm AI voice filled the ship. "You have entered a restricted human zone. Leave immediately. This is your only warning." The crew panicked. Rallick stood up. "This is Union territory. You have no right." Suddenly, the human ship vanished from view, completely cloaked. Then it reappeared behind them. "You have 10 seconds. The captain didn't wait. "Get us out of here now." The Union ship turned and fled, barely escaping with damaged engines. Back at the Union's command council, panic spread. They had proof. The humans had not only survived, they had advanced, far beyond anything the Union had expected. The High Council called an emergency meeting. "They are building warships in secret. We must act now before they strike. We must learn what they've created." But the Speaker Veloc sat quietly. Then he spoke. "Do not poke the nest, not yet." Meanwhile, in the lost sector, the human shipyard buzzed with silent activity. Commanders watched from darkened control rooms as new warships were launched. These were not just ships, they were predators. Some were built to cloak, others to tear through shields. Some were AI-driven, with no crew at all. On the main ship, the dreadnought Starbound, Commander Rhea Cole stood before a glowing tactical map. "The Union has found us," her officer said. "I expected this," Rhea replied calmly. "What should we do? Let them fear us, but not understand us. Not yet." She walked to a giant window, watching the stars. "For now, we wait, we grow, we prepare." On another side of the sector, a small smuggler ship drifted near the border. It carried black market tech, unaware of the human presence. Inside, the alien pilot picked up a strange beacon, one of human design. Curious, he moved closer. Then, his screens went dark. The ship floated for hours, frozen in space. When Union patrol ships found it, there was no crew, no power, only one message scratched into the pilot's control panel. "They see everything." Back in the Union, fear turned into anger. "We cannot let them rise in the dark." One council member shouted. "They were rejected. Now they build weapons in shadows," another whispered. "What if they return, and they don't come in peace?" But it was too late. The humans had already vanished again, pulling their ships deeper into the black. No trace, no signal, nothing, only a cold whisper across the galaxy. "We were cast out, we were forgotten, but we are not gone." The galaxy had seen war. Lasers, drones, plasma cannons, these were known, predictable, common dot. But when the first human weapon was used, everything changed. A Union fleet was stationed near the outer edge of Sector X-79. 20 ships, light defense only, it was supposed. To be quiet space, Captain Yalthar, a jelly-like alien with glowing eyes, stood on the bridge of the USS Vornik. "Anything on the scanners?" he asked. "Negative," replied his officer. "All systems calm." But calm was a lie. Out there, in the black, something was watching. 2 hours later, without warning, the stars flickered, the sky bent, the crew panicked. "Sir, a ship just appeared out of nowhere." "What? From where?" "Unknown. No warp signal, no jump trace." On the screen, a human warship hovered. It didn't look like the old Earth ships. This one was black, shaped like a blade, with red lines glowing. Across its hull, the humans called it Oblivion-class frigate. Then it fired, but not with lasers. A small dark sphere launched no light, no heat. It flew toward a Union cruiser. The crew laughed. "What is that? A rock, then?" The ship folded inward. 1 second, it existed. The next, it was gone. Not exploded, erased. "Weapon," the engineer whispered in horror. The human weapon had collapsed space in a single point, pulling the ship into nothing. Panic spread. Union ships fired. Hundreds of laser bolts filled the sky. But the human ship twisted, literally twisted. Its hull bent physics, dodging in impossible ways. It launched another weapon. This one was worse. Thousands of tiny drones, invisible to radar, flooded the fleet. They entered ships, through vents, cracks, even hull breaches. And inside, they didn't kill, they shut down. One by one, ships went dark, frozen dead. Only one Union ship escaped. It returned with horror in its logs. The report read, "Their weapons don't destroy ships, they erase them. They don't kill, just disable. We had no chance." The High Council was shaken. They've created anti-technology tech. How are they cloaking jumps? What are these drones made of? No one had answers, only more fear on a hidden moon inside the hollow veil. Human commanders gathered. A giant hologram showed images of Union fleet formations. General Rhea Cole stood at the front. "They're weak," she said, "not because they lack ships, but because they lack imagination." The officers nodded. "We were rejected, cast out like animals. But in exile, we became more." New weapons were tested in the darkness. Starcore bombs, silent spheres, that could create micronovas in seconds. Darknet mines, small traps that caught light itself, making ships blind. Phantom codes, AI viruses that infected alien systems through communication channels. One officer whispered, "We are making monsters." General Cole looked at him. "No, they made us monsters when they turned their backs." On the edge of Union space, another fleet was sent, this time bigger, 100 ships, carriers, destroyers, elites. They were told, "Find the human base, end the threat." They never came back. No explosions were detected, no distress calls sent, only a single Union drone survived. It recorded just 7 seconds of footage. A dark wave, a shadow fleet. Human warships shaped like knives, swarming like locusts. Then static dot, the footage was shown in secret meetings. Union leaders stared in silence. Speaker Veloc finally spoke. "This is no longer a human problem. This is a galaxy problem." But others were too scared. "We must negotiate. No, we must attack now before they grow stronger. We made a mistake. We should have never cast them out." But far away, the humans didn't care what the Union thought. On the bridge of the Shadowfire, Sarah Lynn stood beside General Cole. "Are we ready?" Sarah asked. "Almost," Cole replied. "The last piece of the weapon system is complete." They stared at a floating ship, the size of a small moon, a command titan, its name, Judgment. In the quiet of exile, humanity had not only survived, they had built weapons beyond imagination. They had become a force no one could stop, and they weren't done yet. The planet Valoranine burned. It was a small, peaceful world home to plant-like aliens called the Valari. Farmers, traders, scientists. They had no army, no warships, no weapons. But now pirate fleets rained fire from the sky. Explosions lit up cities. Screams echoed through the forests. The Valari sent desperate messages to the Galactic Union. "Please help us. We are under attack. We are being wiped out." No answer came. In the grand halls of the Union Council, the leaders met in cold silence. Speaker Veloc stood before them. "Valora is not a member of the Union. We are not responsible." One voice spoke, "Uppa, young ambassador from the Arcany system. They helped us last year with food shipments, and now we leave them to die." Veloc replied, "They are not our problem." The vote was held. Help to votes. Do nothing, 987 votes. Decision was made. But far across the galaxy, someone else heard the cries. Not from diplomacy, not from duty, but from memory. The humans remembered. Being ignored, they remembered being alone. And they remembered the promise they made. Never again. Valorine's skies turned dark once more, but this time, it wasn't from pirate fire. From the clouds, black ships emerged. Silent, sleek, powerful. The pirates stopped firing. Their scanners lit up with warnings, unknown ships, human design. But far more advanced than the voice came. Cold, final. You harmed the innocent. Your sentence is death. In just 10 minutes, it was over. The pirate fleet was gone, completely erased. Valora's skies cleared. The Valari looked up in shock. Then a human shuttle landed in the central city. A single figure stepped out, a soldier in black armor. Helmet glowing red dot, he handed the Valari leader a small metal tablet. From the United Dark Frontier, he said. What? What is that? The Valari leader asked. A gift, medical supplies, food, and a promise. You are not alone. Back in Union space, the news spread like wildfire. Humans intervene in outer system unknown ships, save Valora from destruction. First human appearance in over a decade, the Union Council was furious. They broke protocol. They violated the Outer Treaty. They're interfering with galactic law. Speaker Velok growled. This was a declaration. They are challenging our authority. A general asked, should we attack? Velok said coldly, no. First, we send a message. A diplomatic drone was sent to the humans. It carried a recorded message from the Union Council. Your interference in Valoranine violates galactic law. Cease your activities, return your fleets to your own space, and prepare to stand before the Council for questioning. The drone approached the edge of Hollow Veil space, but before it could reach the human border, it was destroyed. No warning, no signal, just silence. On the dreadnought Judgment, Sarah Lynn watched the drone's wreckage drift past the ship. Beside her stood Commander Rhea Cole. What do we do now? Rhea asked. Sarah's voice was steady. They want a war. Fine, but we won't play by their rules. She turned to the command table. Prepare Operation Black Echo. 2 weeks later, Union Outpost X-32 went offline. Then X-33, then X-34.0. Ships were seen, no explosions detected, just darkness. Union networks glitched, communications scrambled. Their entire eastern grid fell apart in hours. At the same time, thousands of small worlds poor, weak, ignored began receiving supply drops. From the sky, black crates landed with medical kits, clean water, and small defense drones. Each box carried the same message. We remember the silence. We reject it. United Dark Frontier. The people of those worlds began to whisper. Humans didn't leave us. They protect us now. They are the Dark Guardians. The Union was in chaos. Some leaders demanded war. Others demanded peace. But Speaker Velok slammed his fist on the table. No more discussion. This is war. But in the shadows, the humans were already prepared. They didn't want the Union to accept them anymore. They didn't want seats or votes. They wanted justice. And they would give it one system at a time. The stars shimmered, but something was wrong. Union systems once bright and full of trade were now quiet. Entire sectors blinked off the map. Ships disappeared without a trace, and the fear spread fast. But it wasn't fear of invasion. It was fear of return in the center of the Galactic Union. Panic filled the High Council. Speaker Velok stood in front of a large map. This is the eastern border, he growled. Gone. No communication. No ships return. They've taken it all. A red outline spread across 10 sectors, once Union-controlled, now under human control. How did they move so fast? Asked one ambassador. They didn't move fast. Another replied. They've been preparing for years. We just didn't see it. Velok hit the table. We cast them out. We forgot about them. And now they're back with power we don't understand. But the humans didn't come with fleets of destruction. Not yet. They came with messages. Across every major system, a strange signal appeared. On screens, in holograms, on radio waves, even in the minds of certain species. A calm voice, human, we were exiled, left to die. In your silence, we found purpose. In your darkness, we built light. We do not seek revenge. We seek balance. Then the signal ended with 4 glowing words. United Dark Frontier has returned. In the deep void, near a shattered moon, a Union fleet waited. Their job, stop the human advance. Admiral Zevak, a beetle-like alien, sat in his chair. We will show them they are still just a small species. He laughed. But then, the stars began to disappear one by one, covered in shadows. Then they realized, wasn't the stars that vanished, it was ships, hundreds of human ships, completely silent, no energy readings, no jump signatures. They simply arrived. The human flagship stepped forward. Judgment. Its weapons stayed cold. Its voice rang through space. Stand down. This is not your territory anymore. Admiral Zevak ordered fire. 1,000 blasts filled the void. But when the light faded, the human ships were still there, untouched. Then the human fleet responded. They didn't destroy the Union ships. They shut them off. Each vessel was hit by a phantom codavirus sent through the very lasers they fired. Ships powered down. Engines died. Weapons locked. The fleet drifted powerless. Zev, AK sat frozen. What are they? Back on Velorani. The once attacked planet now thrived. Humans had set up a defense grid. Medical stations, food systems. Velari children played in clean streets. Farmers smiled. Trade returned. One young Velari asked a human guard, "Why did you help us?" The soldier knelt. "Because once, no one helped us." The galaxy began to shift. Union worlds, once proud and loyal, now began to question everything. Whispers rose. The humans protect their own. They never forgot us. They aren't invaders. They're builders. But the Union didn't care for whispers. They wanted control back. An emergency meeting was called in the capital. Velok shouted, "We must launch a full-scale war. All fleets, all weapons." An old leader stood. She had lived through the Union's golden days. "You rejected them when they needed us," she said. "Now they don't need us at all." Velok snarled, "They'll kneel or burn." But the humans had no interest in kneeling. Inside the Shadowfire, Sarah Lynn and Commander Rhea Cole watched the latest reports. "3 more systems joined our cause," Rhea said voluntarily. "Good," Sarah replied. "We don't need to fight if they come willingly." But the Union, Sarah's eyes turned cold. "They still think we want a seat at their table." She turned to the command console and entered a single code, Echo-9. On the next sunrise, the Galactic Union lost its main communication array. In an instant, their networks crashed. Trade collapsed. Fleets couldn't coordinate. Panic rose, and in the silence came a single message. "We no longer ask for your acceptance. We offer something better, a new order." Across the stars, banners appeared, not the old Earth flag. A new one, black background. A star half in light, half in shadow, the symbol of the united dark frontier. They were no longer exiles. They were the future, and they had just returned. Once Earth had stood in front of the Galactic Union, begging for a place now. The Union stood in fear, waiting for Earth to speak. A special emergency session was called. The council hall, once proud and full of confidence, now felt heavy, cold. Over 1,000 alien leaders gathered again, the same seats, the same glowing lights, but everything was different now. They weren't voting to reject humanity, they were voting on how to survive them. Speaker Velok, pale and tense, stood at the center. "Today, we must decide, do we seek peace with the united dark frontier, or do we prepare for war?" Whispers filled the air. "They control half our sectors. They never attacked civilians, but they shut down our fleets like toys. They're not human anymore." The council turned to Velok. "Have they responded to our messages?" He nodded. "Yes, just one." He pressed a button. A black hologram lit up in the center of the hall. It showed Sarah Lynn, standing tall, dressed in deep gray with the black and silver emblem of the United Dark Frontier behind her. Her voice was clear, calm, unshaken. "We asked for peace. You gave us silence. We offered help. You gave us rejection. Now we return. Not to ask, not to beg. We return to lead." Gasps filled the chamber. "You built a system of pride and power. We build something else, a future where no one is ignored, no one is silenced. Join us or be left behind." The hologram ended. No threats, no demands, just a choice. Silence filled the hall. Then the arguments began. A peaceful leader from the world of Trassa stood. She speaks of justice. "I say, let us vote for peace." An admiral from the Zarnok system yelled, "Peace with them? They have destroyed our control over the stars." Another shouted, "But did they kill innocents?" "No, they only destroyed our weapons, our fleets, our power." Speaker Velok raised his arms. "The vote must begin." All across the Union, light panels began to blink, just like all those years ago. Green for yes, red for no. Now the question was different. Do we accept the leadership of the United Dark Frontier and dissolve the current Galactic Council? The room waited. Blink, green, green, red, more, green, more, green. The numbers climbed. Green lights began to cover the room. Velok stared in disbelief. He had once watched red lights remove humanity from the Union. Now, green lights welcomed them back, but not as members, as leaders. The final vote appeared on the main screen. Yes, 697, no minus 303. Past Speaker Velox slowly stepped down from his platform. His voice trembled. The Council is no more. 3 hours later, above the planet Lycer Prime, a single ship descended. The judgment, it didn't come with guns, it came with leaders. Sarah Lynn, Commander Rhea, coal engineers, doctors, teachers. They didn't come to destroy the Union, they came to rebuild it under a new name, the Frontier Accord, a new system, a new rule, no species above another, no ignored voices, no more silence. On a broadcast that reached over 10,000 worlds, Sarah Lynn spoke, "We remember the day you cast us out, but we don't seek revenge. We offer unity not from fear, from purpose. The age of the Council is over. The frontier has begun." Across the galaxy, people watched and listened. And for the first time in years, they hoped far away on a small, forgotten station near the galaxy's edge. A young alien child asked their parent, "Are the humans really monsters?" The parent smiled softly. No, they were just the only ones who refused to stay quiet. Long ago, the galaxy saw humans as weak, too emotional, too unpredictable. They rejected them. They thought humanity would disappear into the dark. They were wrong. Now, black banners of the United Dark Frontier floated across thousands of systems. The Frontier Accord had replaced the broken Galactic Union. Old leaders stepped down. New alliances rose, and at the center of it all stood the species once cast out. On the bridge of the Dreadnought Judgment, Sarah Lynn looked out over a sea of stars. Beside her, Commander Rhea Cole spoke. "It's done. The Council has fallen. The last vote passed. We lead now." Sarah nodded, "And we must lead better than they ever did." Rhea looked at her. "Do you think they'll ever forgive us?" "For what we became," Sarah's voice was steady. "We didn't become monsters. We became necessary." In the galaxy's core, a massive gathering began leaders, scientists, and diplomats from every species, including former enemies. They called it the New Dawn Assembly. The goal was clear: rebuild together. No more castaways. No more silence. On a distant world, a small village once forgotten by both humans and aliens now had clean water, power, and medicinal from frontier supply ships. An old alien farmer stood outside and watched. Children of all species. In the dust, his eyes filled with tears. "They came back," he whispered. "When no one else did, they came back." But not all welcomed the new era. Some Union loyalists hid in the outer systems. Refusing to accept change, they planned attacks, bombings, sabotage. But the frontier didn't answer with war. Instead, they responded with a strange weapon: knowledge. Their AI sent educational codes into those systems' new farming methods, cures for diseases, and energy blueprints. Instead of burning the rebels, they uplifted them. Within months, even enemies began to change their minds. Back on Earth, long-abandoned cities came back to life. Ships returned, children saw the stars for the first time, and a monument was raised in the center of the old United. Nations, a tall black spire, with a simple line engraved, "Rejected, we rose." The final moment came when Sarah Lynn was asked by the Assembly, "What shall we call this new era?" She looked at the stars and replied, "The era of the forgotten, because we were forgotten, and we will never forget anyone again." Years passed, the galaxy changed. Peace didn't come easily, but it came. Old enemies now stood together, new ideas were born, and humans were no longer feared, but respected. Not because they were strong, but because when everyone turned their back on them, they didn't fall. They built Dot in the dark, in silence, in exile, and when they returned, no one saw it coming, on a small satellite drifting at the edge of the known galaxy. A quiet beacon blinked to life. A message appeared on a nearby console. It was old. From decades ago, the message simply said, "Humanity will be silent now." But silence is not surrender. It is preparation. The satellite, long abandoned, flickered one last time, then went dark. But across the stars, the frontier blazed with light. No longer a shadow, no longer an exile, but a force, a hope, a promise.